Alright guys, first things first. This actually came our way maybe a little less than a month ago. An open world 7 Deadly Sins game is in the making and said to be the sequel to the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. Take a look at this. Origins over here will be an open world action RPG and will feature a multiverse based story as well as a brand new protagonist. Check it out. This game is only rumored to be coming out to Android and iOS devices in addition to other platforms as well in about a few months from now.
Thank you, Diane.
Now, I'm pretty sure most of you heard about this one by now, but let's say you haven't, it's really worth the mention. Sky, well, Children of Light has been around for ages, and not too long ago made its way to Android and iOS devices as well. Now, for those of you new, this is actually an open world, free-to-play, exploration-based game. Here's the thing, if you even have a slight bit of interest for games such as Journey, this is without a doubt a must for you. Here's the thing, you can even play this game online with crossplay support as well.
Windborn Outlander, as you set off on your journey once again, you must remember that the journey itself has meaning.
Moving on to, well, heavier based online games and with a way bigger world as well, Genshin Impact is, well, I would have to say one of the recently popularized action RPGs for the mobile devices, but it actually dates back to more than 3 years ago. This game is without a doubt one of the coolest open world games you could play right now. By the looks of it, some people don't even believe it could be a mobile game considering the graphics, but it actually is, and it is also a free-to-play game. Check it out.
Grand festivals like this monopolize the Tenryou Commission's resources. Your timing is impeccable. Pity you were all they sent.
Let's go for a stroll. We wish to discuss cooperation with the Yashiro Commission.
A humble suggestion. The Fatui would do well to update their intelligence concerning me. Ah, but of course, that would require one of you to return in one piece.
Now, as in the case of Diablo Immortal, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there wondering what the hell is just happening with its development. I mean, it was announced like 4 years ago. See, for those of you new, Diablo Immortal is also an upcoming free-to-play MMO action RPG that takes place between the events of Diablo 2 and 3. There was even an alpha testing for this game that took place April last year, and now it is actually set to come out in about a few months from now. Check it out, here's even a new trailer. On the other hand, we have Goat Simulator, the original version of which actually came out about 7 years ago for PCs and consoles, became a literal meme of a game in less than a month and took over the gaming scene for 2 years straight. Well, Goat Simulator over here is basically a pretty regular open world game. It's basically Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row, where you basically play as a goat, and it comes with some really funny physics, so to speak. And best of all, for those of you who didn't know, it is actually a free-to-play game. Moving on, it is Gangstar Vegas, a well-known open-world action-adventure series of games that was first released for Android and iOS devices about 9 years ago. This one over here, though, is actually the 6th installment in the Gangster series, and Vegas is actually set in a modern-day Las Vegas, Nevada. Just like Grand Theft Auto, Gangstar Vegas' elements of driving games and third-person shooters and features open-world gameplay. In case you should even know, this game is downloaded over 100 million times on Android and iOS devices already. Now, coming up behind that, it's Gangster New York, another open-world free-to-play sandbox game that's been in the making for a while now, for which folks at the company just came up with a brand new trailer, according to which, obviously, you could roam around the New York City, play with friends, shoot, race, and even use a jetpack. Gangster New York, well, formerly known as Gang Domination, has been in development since 2019 and set to be coming out in the next few months. So keep it in mind. Here's a quick mission for those of you who've been waiting for some good old Harvest Moon management kind of action. Sunrise Village is right now actually one of the most addictive sandbox free-to-play games. It comes with some unique graphics, reasonable mechanics, I would say, when it does come to kind of village games. Pretty cute, really engaging game with only one downside. It's greedy, and at times it's actually hard not to spend actual money due to the actual amount of fun you're gonna get for it. Just take a look in case you've missed it. Moving on, we've got Teetiny Online, an MMORPG at heart, where you will have to team up with other players to kind of save the world. Now, there is just one downside over here, which is you kind of have to play this game with friends, just like MOBA games. Other than that, it's got a vast open world environment, a day and night cycle, a weather system, an upgrade system, lots of quests, dungeons, filled with monsters, and some real tough challenges as well. Check it out. This game is available on Android devices only, and it is a free-to-play game as well. On the other hand, we have LEGO Star Wars Castaways. This is, well, for those of you new, the first online LEGO Star Wars game to be released on mobile devices. Unfortunately, however, on the Apple Arcades and iOS devices only, this game at its core is an action-adventure where players can build and customize their own in-game LEGO minifigures, team up with friends then, and explore Star Wars locations to uncover and solve mysteries together. Here's the thing, this game was released about 6 months ago, and it's got to be one of the most fun and funny games that you could play right now. Castaways, however, is not a free-to-play game, and there's a monthly fee of about $5 going on here. Definitely worth. Alright, I would say probably the best simulation game you will actually be able to play on your phone right now. Squirrel Simulator 2 is a sandbox open world survival game, for some reason actually free to play, and it's got some of the smoothest and fun physics and designs and environments you can think of for a mobile game. Actually, I'm not sure if it's still an offline game. I think you can now play the game in online. I haven't checked for a while. And other than that one concern, this game is actually a masterpiece. Definitely an upgrade from the first game, and it is still getting updates as well. Check it out if you haven't already. Now, this is probably one of my favorite games of all time, I gotta say. Fugl over here is a semi-open world, well, more like an exploration-based, kind of bird-flying, innovative kind of game as opposed to just being a simulator, and in an endless procedurally generated sandbox world. In Fugl over here, you basically need to survive, fight enemies, and, well, more importantly, just explore the world. Really interesting game, really good concept. It's kind of sort of an action RPG as well at times, and it is actually said to be a free-to-play game once it's released for the mobile devices in the following months, so keep it in mind.
It was an honor saving the world with you all.
Coming up next, it is Marvel Future Revolution. Okay, to be honest, I think this is actually a must-play for the Marvel fans, because it actually comes with one hell of a narrative and plenty of actions to boot. I'd even say it's one of the mobile games that really punches above its weight. This game has a console-quality graphic and somehow playable on mobile devices. Could be a little bit repetitive after a while, however, but that is where the online option kicks in. Extremely fun, and for some reason, this game is actually free. Check it out.
On your knees.
I have come for your help, my sister. Bring it on.
Let's turn up the heat!
This is a war we'll have to fight together. Welcome to Omega Flight.
Now, we have Avatar Reckoning, which is an upcoming exclusive mobile game that's been in development for a while now. Touted as an online open world action RPG, actually the story over here takes place in a never-before-seen parts of Pandora, where players will meet new Na'vi clans fighting to defend their home. This game, for those of you who actually missed out, was announced a few months ago and now rumored to be coming out in about a few months from now, so just keep it in mind. Coming up next, it's gotta be Chimeraland. Well, an RPG at its core, set in a completely open world sandbox. I'll say this is a great game for anyone who's looking for a new direction and just kinda tired of the old RPG formula. Since it actually comes with a lot of different elements to the regular RPG, the world itself over here is actually really huge. The monsters at times feel sort of infinite, the diversity over here is actually crazy, and you can even tame the monsters, which is actually one of the fun things you can do here. It could, however, use some gameplay improvements for sure, but hey, it's actually a free-to-play game, and you can play this game even online. Check it out. Moving on, it's off the roads, or in another word, OCR, open world driving. You could probably tell the title itself, technically speaking, describes a game in its entirety. It is, though, heavily inspired by games such as Burnout Paradise, which is also an open world game, and kind of sort of designed to give you an exploration-based sort of experience. Furthermore, over here you're required to complete challenges and earn money to upgrade and buy new cars. There's a lot more. In case you're wondering, this is also a free-to-play game.
Whispers in my mind, I slow.
Moving on, we've got Dragon Raha, well, one of the good old high-quality MMORPGs that's been sitting on the Play Store with over 35 million registered players as of this moment. The thing about this game is actually developed using Unreal Engine 4 and somehow even manages to run smooth as hell on the mobile devices. It has one of the biggest open worlds out of any online game with I insist, a very original story to boot. The game itself at its core is also an action RPG. If you'd ask me, there's nothing I want to change about this one. Quick mention over here, we have the Legend of Neverland. This one is a CP-based MMORPG that works, well, to be fair, kind of like a raid-based game, and not a PvP, but PvE, but an open world game nonetheless. There's a bit of a downside to this game, which is this game in its current state got quite a bit of bugs and gameplay malfunctions. It takes you about 2 GB of space, and it is also a free-to-play game. Check it out in case you miss it. Guys, in short, one of the best games you can actually play alone right now. Wilderless over here is pretty much just a casual open world kind of game where there is no missions, no enemies, no challenges at all, just chilling. It's just basically you in a whole wide world to roam around and explore for the fun of it. Wilderless is actually not a free-to-play game, however it'll take you about $3 only, and it is an offline game. Take a look. last but not least, we have Arknights, but Endfield. Now, this one over here is a real-time action RPG with real-time RPG with strategy elements. The thing about this game, for those of you actually familiar, is that it is set in the same world of the original Arknights, which is a free-to-play RPG, also tower defense game with RPG elements that actually came out a couple of years ago. This new game, however, will be a 3D, as you can see, and will take place on a different planet. Not only that, there's also a new character and a brand new story. Check it out. Arknights Endfield is currently in development for mobile devices and also PCs.